there, beautiful brown girl family. So excited to see you all. Y'all probably are checking your calendars, trying to figure out what day it is. We have a special episode of Brown Girl Boss today, and just super excited to be here with you all. Usually, we're here on Wednesdays, but we were able to get our guest today we want to take advantage of this because it's going to be really good. So while y'all are coming in, make sure that you introduce yourself for me in the comments, that you let us know where you are watching from, that you go ahead and tag some of your friends and share the broadcast on your page. You might be wondering what we're going to be talking about tonight. So let me give you just a little snippet. We're going to be talking about career moves. Okay. Now, I know that there are some people that are in my circles, for instance, that kind of feel this shifting in the atmosphere and kind of reevaluating where you might be within your career space. So you want to be here tonight. You want to make sure that you have something to take notes with, because I am certain that you're going to walk away with some additional clarity about some things, and you want to be able to ask as many questions as you possibly can while we're here, so that you're able to get the support that you can. So again, I see you all coming in. Hey, Siobhan and Jennifer, welcome to the live. Hey there, Adrian. So again, as y'all are coming in, go ahead and introduce yourself to us in the comments. Let us know where you are watching from. Also, let us know if this is your very first time hanging out with us on BBG TV Brown Girl Boss, so that we can celebrate you as well. So I see Tandrick is here from Atlanta area, Melinda from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Y'all go ahead and tag your friends, share the broadcast, so that we can get this party popping, okay? There is so much that we have to talk about today, and I'm like bubbling with excitement. I'm trying to contain it, but it's probably going to come out because it's a lot. It's a lot that's happening, and we're going to have a really good show here today. So shout out to Martha, who is a first timer from Chicago. Spirit fingers for you, boo. And welcome. So excited that you are here, Martha. Go ahead and tag your friends, honey, so that they can get in here with us as well, okay? So for the benefit, I don't want to belabor the time, y'all, because we have so much that we have to talk about. All the things, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do our official welcome so that you know exactly what you are watching. But before I do that, we have another first timer. Want to shout her out. So looks like Braniella, maybe, from Atlanta. First timer, welcome. We are excited to have you here. Hey, beautiful. All right, okay, let me tell y'all what y'all watching. So good evening, y'all, and welcome to BBG TV Brown Girl Boss. This is our virtual platform that allows us to connect with other like-minded women who are on a mission to live their very best lives. We come to you weekly with programming that will challenge and inspire you and get the conversation going to connect with other beautiful brown girls. My name is Kimberland, and I come to you all from Pennsylvania. On tonight's show, we're going to be chatting with Brown Girl Boss, Dr. Tega Edwin, from Her Career Doctor. During the month of March, here at Beautiful Brown Girls, we've been focusing on renewal, rebirth, and rejuvenation just in time for spring. So tonight, we're going to be discussing career moves, how we can truly connect our passion and purpose to job search with confidence and find a fulfilling career. I promise y'all, you want to pay close attention, okay? And get everybody in here with the discussion, because this is going to be good. We already were getting amped up before you all came on. So we are ready for this. Okay. So again, if you have not done so already, introduce yourself in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Tag your friends in the comments. Share the broadcast on your page. And if this is your very first time hanging out with us, go ahead and let us know that as well. Okay. Now, one thing I guess that I'm wondering before we get started is where you are with your career. Are you feeling like you're A-okay, super excited? Everything's a go? Are you kind of in a place where you're like, I feel like I might need to transition, not quite sure? Or are you ready to get up out of there, girl? Okay, so let us know that in the comments as well. Okay, if you are in a place super excited, love your career, you are rocking it out. If you are in a place of considering transition, maybe not quite sure, or if you are ready to hit the road, okay, let us know that as well so that we know who we have. So let me go ahead and introduce our guest because she's amazing. Y'all will see when she gets on here. You'll see why I'm so excited. Okay, so tonight, again, we have Dr. Tega Edwin, is an award-winning career development researcher, educator, and speaker. She's the owner of Her Career Doctor, where she helps women who are unhappy at work get clear about who they are so they can find a fulfilling career and job search with confidence. In addition to her work as a career counselor, Dr. Tega currently uses her PhD in counselor education as a professor to train future counselors in a large research university. She's a licensed professional counselor, a national certified counselor, and a certified salary negotiation facilitator. Listen, let me tell y'all something. She about to use these credentials tonight, okay? Y'all better be thinking about these questions, honey, because sis is qualified, all right? Okay, so anyway, she has used her training and 6+ years of experience to work as a career counselor for one of the top career services centers in the nation for almost 3 years. She's spoken at national career development conferences, successfully negotiated 10% plus salary increases. She's been published in articles in national career development journals and magazines. She's developed a unique flip triangle model for career decision making, and she lives on purpose in a career path that she's thrived in for over 7 years. And honey, we are ready to tap into this tonight. Okay, so one more time, I'm gonna ask y'all these questions again. Tell us where you are in your job search. You are in your career. You're loving it. Everything is totally fine. You're thinking about maybe transitioning, or you are like, child, I got to go. All right, I'm about to bring Dr. Tega in here, honey, so we can get everything started. So beautiful brown girl family, help me welcome Dr. Tega. Hi there, beautiful.
Hey, Kimberland, how are you?
I am phenomenal. I'm so excited. I'm trying to like contain, but it's bursting out because I already know that this conversation is just going to be so amazing. So
I'm
I'm trying
excited
to
to
tell the
be here.
people they don't even know yet, but we about to see. We're about to see. So I'm looking at all of the comments, and we have quite a few people who are looking to transition as well as ready to get up out of their situations where they are. I want you, if you can start us off with telling us, how did you even get into this work?
That's the story. How did I get into this work? I'll give you the short version so we can get to the goodies. I started
Okay.
working as a faculty member 3 years ago, but before I started working as a faculty member, like you said, I was working as a career counselor for an agency. And so when I started working as a faculty, where I was training counselors, I love the work I do, but I realized very like first semester in, I was like, dang, I miss clients. Like I miss working with clients. I miss interacting with my clients. And so that's what led me to start Her Career Doctor. And so career counseling as a whole came because I've been in counseling for the past 7, 8-ish years. So I worked as a school counselor, a mental health counselor, and then a career counselor. And each of those has just been a switch based on where I was in life and what I was looking for next. And so I'm really excited for us to chat today.
Yes, this is gonna be so good. So, let me ask you this: how do we know that we should be looking to transition, or what types of signs might we be seeing that let us know it's time to start kind of directing our thoughts in that manner?
Right, right. So like, how do you know that it's time to bounce?
That part. Pretty much what I was trying to get at. Yeah. How do we know?
So there are a few different signs that you can look out for. I would say things like if you regularly have low energy. So if you're just starting to notice that your work is draining you. I always talk about how, there's times when you've had a day of just really working and it's like you're still energized at the end, but it's the other times where maybe you've taken a nap and you slept for too long and you wake up like, what? Like, what just happened? When you feel that second one daily after work, where you're done with work and you're just like, what the heck just happened in my day? Like, I have no energy. I just want to go chill on the couch because I am literally drained. That's a sign. When you find yourself only looking out for the money, so literally, depending on how you get paid, the first and the 15th, or sorry, the 15th and the 30th, or the last day, whatever it is, if you're only looking forward to the money, like the only good thing is, this paper is coming in and that means you can buy the things that will make you happy, but every other in between time, you're miserable, that's probably a sign that it's time for you to go. Some other signs is when you see that you no longer have growth opportunities. So when you start to notice that you have been in a role for a while, people have come after you and have gotten promoted, but you haven't. You are not seeing any opportunities to grow. You're not seeing people who look like you, who are in higher roles. So there's like a ceiling already on your growth in that organization, and you're either close to or have reached that ceiling. It might be time for you to go. So those are some very quick signs. The last one I actually would share is when you just notice that your physical and mental health is starting to be impacted. When you're losing weight, when you're gaining weight, when you're complaining all the time, when you're arguing, when your stomach is hurting, when you have headaches for no reason, when you're feeling anxious, depressed, you're dreading going in, it's physical and mental symptoms. When they start showing up, it's time to go.
I had to just pause right there for a second because I felt that in my spirit.
I know.
Definitely have experienced a lot of that, especially when you talked about taking a nap and like waking up and like the whole disillusionment. There have been many days I have gotten up from this desk and been like, what time is it? What day is it? Like, or even finding it difficult to focus on the next thing, right? So I know that I have other work that I need to do, or I have emails that I need to do, but I can't even find the brain cells to direct in that area. And I'm just kind of just sitting here like in this fog. Yeah.
For sure.
Yes. So family, as you all are watching, I see some of y'all putting in, let us know if these comments are resonating with you as you hear us talking, and if you have questions, make sure you get those in, right? Because we definitely want to address those. So something that's showing up in the chat right now, both Yolanda and Melinda have put in about feeling anxious. Eleanor has talked about dreading going into the office. What advice do you have for those of us who maybe recognize that this is a mentally taxing, toxic, maybe even traumatizing workspace, but not quite sure what to do with
that? Well, the first place to always start is reflection. What is going on? What is leading? Sorry, I saw a comment that I would like us to come to in a bit. What is leading you? What is causing what you're feeling? Is it the relationships at work? Is it the compensation? Is it the commute if you have one? Is it the actual work that you're doing? Just really stopping and asking yourself, what exactly don't I like? Because oftentimes we know we don't like our work, but we don't know why. And that's a recipe for very quickly ending up in a similar situation, like ending up in a cycle. And so getting super clear of the jump is what I would say. Just start with that reflection and then figure out, when you've reflected, you'll know what's wrong, and then you can easily figure out, so is this something that's within my power to change, or is it time for me to go, right? Because sometimes it might just be a little shift in project. It might just be a little shift in teams, whatever it might be, and you might be fine. But sometimes it's, you know what, no, this is not the place for me anymore. It's really time for me to leave, and then you need to start making moves towards that transition.
So I'm gonna keep down the same path because so Yolanda said it's become hard to identify. So I know that's something that you help with, is helping folks to find clarity. So can you kind of guide us through, or any advice that you can give us on how to identify what is happening, or if we've already identified it, how do we find clarity to know that next step?
Yeah. So I love that Yolanda made that comment, because trying to make that next step without clarity is a recipe for disaster. So when it comes to making that transition, when I work with women who are, in a career that they're feeling unhappy in, and they want to leave, but they don't know what they'll do instead, or they don't know what exactly is wrong, I walk them through a 5-step process that takes them through the first part of my framework. The very first is what I talked about, which is just that evaluate your current career. And I give some parameters, and I said some of them already, right? Is it the management style? Is it the compensation? Is it the relationships with the people that you're working with? Is it the actual work that you're doing? Is it the clients that you're working with? Is it the commute? Is it how you have to dress? Is it how you have to present? Is it microaggressions? Like really, it's like down to the nitty gritty. What exactly are you no longer satisfied? Because there's some people who are in workplaces who are like, I like my day to day, but it's when people come in that I'm like, get out of my face, right? Like it's the microaggressions, the comments, the snide remarks. That's what gets me. But the actual work I'm doing, I don't mind, right? So for someone like that, it's a very different conversation than I hate everything, throw it away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So can I wanted to know, I'm not trying to interrupt your flow. I'm so sorry, but on these microaggressions though, because this is something that we have been, for real, we've been talking about this on our Brownversation shows, right? And on Brownversations, we kind of talk about like pop culture type things, but we had actually just talked about Meghan Markle's interview, and I felt that like in my deep inner spirit, right? When she was talking, I was like, listen, sis, you talking about me right now, right? What, like, how, because sometimes I feel like we struggle with being able to put the finger on it, right? So we're like, something just doesn't feel right. So for instance, you said it might be certain people that come around or certain things that are being said. Do you have any advice for how we can be aware of the microaggressions that may be the thing that, when we go back to Yolanda's comment, that can't quite identify what it is, but we just know it's not sitting right?
So the it's not sitting right, that is your sign. Too many of us have forgotten how to trust our guts. Too many of us have forgotten how to, I mean, I said gut, but if I would say the word I'm really thinking, too many of us have forgotten how to discern what the spirit is trying to tell us.
That part.
And so by the very definition of a microaggression, it's a subtle, often minor remark, comment, or action that is meant to belittle you, but they're not always intentional. I'm not going to go into this, but like 3 different types of microaggressions. And so by the very nature of a microaggression means it's an interaction that leaves you feeling like, should I be, was that a compliment, or should I be upset? I'm not quite, what? That is the definition of a microaggression. So that I don't understand what just happened. That's a microaggression. And so that's the first step I would say is really getting clear that when you feel that ickiness, pause and ask yourself, what just happened to lead to me feeling icky? Like really actually think through the conversation. Who said what? Who did what? Who shifted somewhere? What did I smell? What did I see? Like pause and check with yourself. Just pinpoint what made you feel icky. And usually one of the reasons why we have a hard time then voicing it is because, again, by nature of microaggressions, because they're so subtle, microaggressions make you feel stupid for saying something about them, because it's not direct. They didn't just come out and say you're dumb. It's you're smart for a Black person, and you're like, she said I was smart though, but for a Black, I don't understand. That's the definition where it's a comment that when you get upset, people can very easily try to gaslight you. Like, oh, that's not what I meant.
I was just about to say that, the gaslighting. I'm sorry. Go ahead. That's okay. I'm gonna mute my mic. So, go ahead.
Don't mute your mic. I love interaction. So it's important to be to be sensitive to yourself, be sensitive to your spirit, be sensitive to your gut, and pause. What made me feel icky? And then addressing it. Now, this one, people are in different stages of their lives. And honestly, I'm trying to get everybody to the level that I want them to be. So I just be giving the advice. But because someone like me recently, I had someone say, oh, you look really nice today. I think I was wearing a dress. You look really nice today. I said, I don't look nice every other day. And they couldn't bring it. They're like, oh, no, that's not it. I'm like, And without any attitude, I'm just asking a question. And usually I found that's the best way to address a microaggression. Oh, tell me more about the Black people that aren't as smart as me. I'm sorry, I just played dumb. You haven't seen other pretty Black girls? Just me? Oh, let's talk about that. I'm just gonna play dumb real quick. Like, let's go there. If you want to go there, let's go there. But not everyone is at that level of comfort. And until you have experienced microaggressions a lot, because when they first happen, you're so stunned. But by the time you realize what has happened, we've moved on.
Yeah.
And so I can't bring it back without feeling petty. Right? Like, go to their office and have the conversation. You better be petty. But let's just say in the public space, I can't. And so with experience, though, I think once you experience them over and over, then you're able to very quickly hear it and say what now? And I just usually just play dumb. Oh, tell me more. Tell me, what do you mean by that? I don't understand. Help me understand that. Because they don't have a reason. They don't have an explanation. They don't have a justification. And I found that that's the quickest way to shut it, to help them see that what they said didn't make any sense, is to just ask them to explain it to you.
I feel like I want to do a slow clap right now. My spike the mic. Yo, I strive. And I consider myself, I've been doing a lot better lately, right? I consider myself to be pretty good at addressing microaggressions. But I want to be on your level, Dr. Tega. Like, I want to be like, hold on, let's unpack this for a moment.
It's not
like, tell me more.
On. You know, we're not all always on. I'll say that much. There are days where I'm like, dang it, I missed the moment. But for the most part, when I hear it, I guess I just became tired of keeping quiet. And so it's practice. So it can feel scared the first time. That's what I'll say to the audience. I'm saying it now, but I've been practicing these responses for 3-4 years now. So the first time can feel scared, but say it even while your voice is shaking. And over time, your voice will stop shaking.
Amen. Look, my shirt today says "Be bold." Okay, I receive it. So I had interrupted you. You were telling us about the 5 steps, and the first was clarity, right? But I felt like we needed to dig into that for a second. Okay, but go ahead.
So the first was, evaluate what you don't like, because that will help you know exactly what you're going to avoid moving forward. A lot of us just think, oh, I hate my job, I'm going to find something else. And when you come from that lens, what then happens is you can very easily end up in a job that has the exact, 6 months in, you're miserable. And you're like, why? What the heck happened? And it's because you didn't take time to get clarity. So that's number 1. Number 2, and this is where you can pull up that upward facing triangle. The second step is to clarify what I call your non-negotiable values. Okay, your values are the things that are important to you. Your values are your compass in life. They're your beliefs that are most important to you. So number 2 is you have to clarify the values that are non-negotiable, because this is one of the few, usually when I work with people, I don't speak in absolutes, because I'm like, life happens. But this is one of the few times I will say, if you are in a career that is out of alignment with your values, you are 99.8% guaranteed going to be unhappy. Right? So if you are someone who values compensation and you aren't being compensated at the level that you think is your value, unhappy. If you are someone who values being recognized for your work, but you never get recognized at work, unhappy. If you are someone who values autonomy, independence, flexibility, but none of these things are available at work, unhappy, guaranteed. And so that's the second thing, is to clarify what your values are, and also realize that your values can, will, and do change. And let them change, because, and this is what I always tell people, who you were 5 years ago is not who you are today, is not who you're going to be in 5 years. And as such, all these things I'm going to talk about will change over the 5 years. But too many times people want to stay loyal to a company. They don't want to transition, but they're like, I used to enjoy it. I don't know what's wrong now. Well, yeah, the person who you were that used to enjoy it is not who you are anymore. So it makes sense that you don't enjoy it anymore. And then the third thing that you'll want to do is clarify what I call your zone of genius interest areas. And these are the things that when you're doing them, time just seems to feel like it's flying by. Like you look down and you're like, dang, I've been working. Where did the time go? I forgot to pee. Like, what have I been doing? Like you just enter what we call a state of flow where the work is just coming out of you. Now your career will not always feel like that, but you want to know what those areas are so that you can start to identify how to connect those to a career. And then finally, you want to clarify what I call your high power skills. And these are the skills that make you feel strong, powerful, and confident. Too often, we end up in careers because somebody somewhere at some point said, oh, you're good at blank, so you should be blank. But here's the thing. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you enjoy doing it. I'm going to bring that back. Just because you're good at it does not mean you enjoy doing it. Okay? Because too many people assume, well, because I'm good at it, then it should be my career. It should be my job. Skills that I use at work. Look, no. Let me just put it that way. I worked with a client once who I remember she had always been in finance roles for the past few years. And at one point we were working and she said, you know what, Tega, I realized I've always been working in math because I'm good at it, but I don't like math. And I'm like, yeah, I heard that very quickly in our work because we all have many skills, but we don't enjoy using every skill. So it's important to stop and ask yourself, what are the skills that when I'm using them, I feel strong, powerful, and confident? I feel like, yes, I'm in my lane. I'm doing what I was created to do. And so once you're clear, once you have that evaluation and you're clear on these these next three things, then you are able to then find your aligned career options, right? So it has to start internally. It has to start with knowing who you are so that you can then go out and examine the world of work and say, okay, which careers, which roles are in alignment with who I am? And that's how I find work. That's how I get clarity to find work that I will find fulfilling.
So let me kind of dig a little deeper on that because you and I were talking over the weekend when we were getting ready for the show, and I was sharing with you that I'm a life coach, and I threw out this concept of purpose, and then we started having this conversation about passion and purpose. I would love for you to retalk that so that our community can hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, and you can stop sharing this now. So a lot of times when I'm working with women, they will say, I've lost my passion, because I'll do through most of my programs, you have to apply. And so when we're having that call, that fit call, I'll hear things like, I'm no longer motivated, but I've lost my passion. I'm just trying to find my passion. I don't know what I'm passionate about. Or I don't know what my purpose is. I'm trying to just find a career that aligns with my purpose. And I'll hear them use passion and purpose interchangeably, right? I'll hear them go back and forth with both. And here's the thing though, passion is not a set of keys that you have lost. Okay, passion is revealed when you are in action. So if you look at the very definition of those two words, passion is having extreme enthusiasm for something. Purpose is the reason for which something was created. So for you to have, so if I come back to passion, for you to have extreme enthusiasm for something, you have to know what something is.
Doing something.
And that's what your interests are. Exactly. It's like, that's what interests are. You figure out what some interests are, you start working on it. The more you do it, the more you realize, I really dig this. I want to learn more. I want to do more. And that's how passion reveals itself. It's like, okay, this is my lane. That's passion. Now, purpose, everyone goes differently, but I have one stance and one stance only for purpose, and that's because I'm Christian. If purpose is the thing for which something was created, I know that I was created for one reason only, and that's to glorify God. And so how we all choose to glorify God looks different. And the careers we use can allow us to glorify God in our unique spaces. But your purpose is predetermined. You don't find your purpose. You don't create your purpose. You were made for a reason. That's your purpose. And so your passion might be a way that you live out your purpose. And your passions can and probably will change again as you evolve as a person.
Y'all, I don't know about y'all, but we're not done. But I'm ready to pass the collection plate right about now. Everything in me wants to be like, sis, girl, You better talk about this stuff. Talk to us in the comments, y'all. What are you receiving? Because I'm over here getting super full. Now, okay, we've gone through our process, right? We have looked at our values, our interests. We've, gotten those skills, and okay, now we think that we are clear, but we still up in this job though, Dr. Tega, trying to get up off this piece.
She said, I'm
How
stuck
do
here.
listen, how do we make a plan to transition, or do we even make a plan? Like, do I just be like, you know what, I'm done, y'all be well,
No.
okay, it's been real out this piece? Like, what does that look like to actually go from a place of recognizing I need to leave to actually physically leave?
To leave it, you're like, I'll see you on Friday. Y'all just ain't gonna see me on Monday. Then I'm gone.
I'm just saying, it's been real. I appreciate y'all. I just won't have a recommendation. We're just pretending the last year didn't happen. Like,
so definitely, yes, you need a plan, for sure. You definitely need a plan, and clarity is the first step in the process. And really, if I, when I walk clients through that triangle that I showed you, the goal at the top of that pyramid is to identify your potential fulfilling careers, right? And usually in my program, the goal is identifying your top 3, but it might look different for you if you're doing this on your own. Excuse me. And the reason why I say potential fulfilling careers is because I strongly believe that we can all be happy in multiple different careers. There's not just, so people often talk about the dream job. In fact, I used to use that phrase, dream job. But to be honest, I don't like it, because I think of the dream job like the dream man. It's a myth. It doesn't exist. We can all enjoy doing multiple things. And so what happens if you pick one job as your dream job, and then when you go to look for a role, there's nothing out there. Now you're stuck again. So you have to find options like, okay, you know what? It's either going to be A or it's going to be B. And then I need to do like an evaluation, right? In terms of things like geographical location, compensation, the industries, because multiple industries will have the same roles. So which industry do you want to be in? Like a graphic designer in education is different from a graphic designer in entertainment, is different from a graphic designer in finance. So what is the industry you want to be in addition to the role that you want to do? And so figuring out, really narrowing it down, and then start talking to people. And actually, let me back up a few steps. Because what we're saying, that plan piece, I advise to do a plan because it's the wise decision. But if you are someone who you're in a position where legit your health is being impacted, like if I stay one more day, I might harm myself or I might harm someone else. If I stay one more day, I'm going to be curled up in a ball in bed and I can't move. Like there are legit physical and mental repercussions happening from me. I'm getting ulcers, whatever it may be. Then it might be time for you to just go. Like that's the only time I advise people just jump without a plan. It's your health literally can't take it, or you have the finances. So if you can be good financially for the next 3 to 6 months, then you might be able to just jump. But if you're not in any of those two situations, if you can bear it, if you can make even small tweaks to make it bearable for another 3 to 6 months, and you don't have the money saved up yet, your finances aren't in a good position, then I'm going to say make a plan. You need to make a plan, and then you are going to evaluate those options, right? You have these 3, 4, however many roles, figure out which one it is. And then I like to talk about doing what I call test drives. So how can you test drive a job? Because it allows you to experience it without quitting, especially if you're someone who financially you're not ready to jump. And so test drives might be things like volunteering, job shadowing, internships, part-time roles, but just taking the role for a test drive so that you can figure out which of these is the right fit. And while you're test driving, you want to be reflecting on your experiences. Legitimately, how was that for me? Did I really enjoy this? Did I not? And by the way, I'm going through another framework. It's called triage. So the T is test drive. The R is reflect on those experiences. The I is then identify your skills gaps. So you know what job you want to go into. Do you have all the skills you need to be successful? Or are you looking, as you're looking through the job, you're like, dang it, they need this certificate and I don't have it. So once I identify my skills gaps, and I can create a plan to close those gaps, right? How do I start positioning myself? So these 3 to 6 months that I'm staying in this job I hate are not idle. I'm taking active action. So what do I need to do to develop the skills that I need to make this move? Is it maybe I know, oh, there's one project in my job right now that if I do this project, I'm going to have those skills on the books. Or I need to take a course, a certificate, something like that. That's the I.
Yeah.
The A in triage is audit your finances. So one of the reasons a lot of women stay in jobs they hate is because money's tight. And it's like, if I don't get that check, I'm going to be on the streets. Like the money just is tight. And so audit your finances. What do you have right now? What do you need? How much do you spend monthly? What can you cut out? What does that process look like? Then the G is generating your plan, right? So you now know this is a job I want to do. These are the skills I'm going to get. This is how I'm going to either make more money or save more money. So generate your plan, and then you establish your plan by doing it. You then make the moves. Sometimes that might look like, I talked about those projects that you're taking. Maybe okay, I'm volunteering for these 2 projects, and that's just because I'm not really trying to be a good employee. I just know I'm about to leave. If there are allies in your company, maybe you start talking to those allies about this transition that you're going to make, so they can give you recommendations. Talking to people in the other industry, and that's how that plan would be created to then make that move from where you are to where you want to be. I should also mention in this, when you identify the role you want to go into, sometimes you might not be able to make that jump directly. You might need what I like to call a bridge job, and that's just a job that's in between where you are and where you want to be. It might be a job that gets you into the industry, that gets you into the role, that gets you into a specific company. Sometimes that job might mean a slight pay cut. I usually don't like my clients to take pay cuts, but it just depends on how you're going in. If you're really brand new, you might need what I call a bridge job, where I'm going to do this for 18 months. And if I do that for 18 months, I'll be in the perfect position to transition into my fulfilling role.
That's good. I've thought about what that might look like before, and I think that the catch is like, I don't want to go backwards, right? You want to feel like you're going forward, but I can hear people saying in my mind, like, you are going back to move forward because it's with purpose within the plan that you've created. Like, this is a part of the plan. So I appreciate you saying that. I did want to, before y'all, if y'all have questions, go ahead and drop them, because we're about to just start firing them off in just a little bit.
I see one really good one, but keep going.
Okay, so tell me after I ask this, don't lose it, please. Okay. I was going to ask, you had mentioned allies, and I know that some of us are in roles where we may would like to get a recommendation, if you will, but may feel that we can't. Like, how do we identify the people that we can consider allies that may be able to provide that recommendation or something like that if everybody else is kind of not, they tripping or whatever might be happening?
Yeah, stalk them.
Oh, okay.
You just start, you identify some people that you think you might want to build this relationship with, and you start stalking them. What are they doing in the company? Are they on LinkedIn? What are they commenting on LinkedIn? What are they, because with LinkedIn, if you go to someone's activity, you can see their comments in addition to their posts. What are they sharing? What are they commenting on? What are they saying? Can you by any chance find a private Instagram, a Twitter? Stalk them. And I would stalk someone for maybe a good 3 months. Excuse me. And part of my stalking might be in that 3 months, I might invite you for a 15-minute coffee just to chat. So I can get, and if I trust my intuition, get a feel for the vibe. How do I feel around you? And if after looking you up, I know that this person is legit, like from what I'm seeing, they're about it, they're about it. And I might then start opening it out. So let's have 2 more conversations that are just chill, getting to know you. Maybe by conversation number 4, I'm saying, by the way, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I want to do. Do you have any recommendations for me? And that's what that process would look like.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned going on their LinkedIn, right? Because I admittedly am not I don't do a good job at maintaining my LinkedIn. I've been doing better though. I'm proud of myself.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
I started paying attention to certain people and what they share, what they comment on, right? And a lot, like we can, especially if they share it on LinkedIn, like they super committed if they shared it
Mm-hmm.
on LinkedIn, right? Because that's the workspace and the work that I do in diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is really a great indicator to see where people's mindsets are, right? And back to that value, I want to be in a place where they value inclusion and value justice and value anti-racism, right? So if they're not sharing things about that, now I got to be wondering now, are we really doing this, or y'all just starting out and trying to check a box?
Now here's the thing. I would be aware of who I'm stalking. Because, for example, I know a client that I just worked with recently. We just finished working together. She is sort of doing two roles in her company. One of them is DEI. And she has the heart for DEI, and we talked about how that's not her main role. It's something they just tapped on her, like they do. But she wants
Because
to
you're the
transition.
black.
The one and only. But she wants to transition into that. But she's wary about posting, like, her real thoughts on LinkedIn, because one, she's still hired with this company, and this company interfaces with clients, so she's still their face. And even though this is the move she wants to make, she's not ready enough to where she can say, well, if they don't like it, F them. Like, she's not there yet. And
Right.
so she's not wholeheartedly sharing some of those strong thoughts, right? And so for some people, there are real repercussions. If I share, people gonna think, they'll know what I
This I
believe.
know.
But
Yes.
people always forget about the comments, sis. The comments is where I be going. Because if I see you commenting on somebody else's stuff and you talking left ways, then I know what you really think. Because people think
Yeah.
comments are safer. Like, it's not my post. Like, when the Biden thing happened, Dr. Biden, Joe Biden, and people were saying she shouldn't be doctor, I was creeping through those comments like, let me see which one of you here think I don't deserve my doctor. And I saw some people who were like,
Yeah.
he's not a doctor, and they were commenting on other people's posts. When something happened with Trump, I don't remember what, but I was seeing people commenting, like praising. I'm like, oh, that's how you really feel. Good to know. I'm going to take note of that. And so the comments is where people tend to let themselves be themselves, is what I've noticed.
Yes. Girl, you dropping knowledge, honey. I'm about to be right on LinkedIn. Okay, so let me get to some. Oh, there was a question that you
Yes.
wanted to highlight. So let me grab that one first.
Yolanda,
Who is this
Yolanda
from?
Turner, she asked it about 7:35. Can we talk about age? Those are 40 and up
Yes.
who may be afraid to move. And Yolanda, the key word there is in the last three words. Your age isn't the problem, your fear is the problem.
Mm.
Okay? Your age isn't the problem, your fear is the problem. Now, let me say, yes, there's ageism in some industries. I'll start there, most definitely. But if I'm saying that you are afraid to move, that means you have already borrowed problems before they even existed. You've already assumed that your age is a barrier, and that is, one, shifting how you see yourself, and two, likely going to prevent you from making moves. And so that's step one, is check yourself, check your mindset, check what you believe about yourself. And are you discounting your own self because of your age? That's number one. And then number two, this is where then I would think about the industry you're going into and the roles you're going for, where there are places who are looking. First of all, you said 40 and up. I thought you were going to say like 60 and up. Like, to me, 40 is not like, girl, you in your prime.
I just turned 40 in February, honey. I'm
you out
ready.
here living
Okay.
life. You know what I mean? So to me, 40 is still young career-wise. And honestly, to most industries, it is. You can go through a full application process. Like Kimberland, for example, you don't look 40. And so if you're applying for a job until you are at the HR level, no one's going to know that you're 40. So they're not asking about your age. You can apply for the job that you want if you have the skills, if you can speak to it. Anybody got to know how old you are until HR is doing your paperwork. At that point, what are they going to say? Oh, you're too old, go away. No. So the age thing really isn't a factor for most people, I think, up until like 50 something. And even then, I know some 50-year-old people who look hella young, right? And so just that's number one, is make sure you're not discounting your own self. And then be aware of the industry. Some industries are, I think things like maybe beauty or fashion, depending on the role. If you're going on the back end, if like you're doing, direct DEI, for example, or R&D or marketing, PR, those are things that your age doesn't really factor in. It's about the skills. So I think with most organizations, with most companies, as long as you can speak to your skill set, as long as you can market yourself effectively for the role, age isn't a barrier. Age is not a number. It's not a barrier.
Okay.
But sometimes where age might be an issue is because usually age comes with a lot of experience. And so if you're trying to apply for something that's entry-ish level, then they might think you're too qualified for that role. Right. And so how do you market yourself that, you know what, no, I'm making a transition, although you shouldn't be going entry level either way. Any experience is experience, but that's an area where it might be a barrier.
Gotcha. Okay, we got lots of questions, so we're gonna get as many as we can. So
Let's go
Irma,
ahead.
Irma asked a while ago, what do you think about lateral moves? And if you could explain what lateral moves mean, and then what do you think about lateral moves?
Yes, lateral moves are just sideways. So I was director of DEI in company A. I go become director of DEI in company B. A vertical move might have been director of DEI in company A, VP of DEI in company B, right? So vertical is upwards, lateral is just sideways. I think they're perfectly fine if they are made with purpose. You can make a lateral move and get a pay raise while also going into a more conducive environment, right? You might make a lateral move because the space you're in is no longer healthy for you, and you might still be able to negotiate a pay raise, so that's fine. You might make a lateral move as a bridge job. Maybe the move is into a company that eventually you want to go up in that company, so a lateral move made the most sense to get your foot in. So I think lateral moves are perfectly fine. They can serve as a lateral move can be a financial vertical move, because one company might pay you more to do the same job than the other company was paying you, or a lateral move can be a bridge job. So I think they're perfectly fine.
Okay, perfect. And that was another question that we had about the bridge job, the I can't talk all of a sudden,
Okay.
bridge job as well, if that is a lateral move. So that can be.
It can be, but not always. Sometimes bridge jobs can go in any direction. It could be backwards, it could be sideways, it could be upwards. It could literally be in any direction as long as it's made with purpose.
Gotcha. Okay. Adrienne has a question that has surfaced in a few of the comments as well. She said, how can I get the support to get back to work or move into working for self? So there have been a few comments about folks saying that they are entrepreneurs and really wanting to move into that. So if you could address those two, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm worried about this conversation for a few reasons. One, we're currently living in a day and age where entrepreneurship is glorified. Um, and so that's just step one. It's not all it's cracked up to be. We are living in a time where people are vilifying the 9 to 5. And it's like, if you're gonna be an entrepreneur one day, that means you're gonna have employees who are gonna be working 9 to 5. We need employees to make the world go round. There's nothing wrong with 9 to 5. Like, those are perfectly fine. So that's what I want to say. And three, a lot of times I've seen a lot of people use entrepreneurship to escape corporate. And if you're starting a business just to escape something else, that's not the right reasons. It's going to flop. I can guarantee you that, unless you have a lot of support. If you're starting a business because there's a genuine problem, you have a passion to solve, that's different. Because when it gets hard, if all you did was started it because you wanted to escape when it gets hard, sis, be right back where you started from.
Trying to
So that's
escape.
what I want to say about that. Exactly. That moving into work for self, it needs to genuinely be for a solid reason. I have a big why. I know why I started this. I know the problem I'm trying to solve, because when it gets hard, that's what's going to keep me going. So that's how I'll start. That's what I'll say about the entrepreneurship pieces. Make sure it's for the right reason and it's not to escape, because you can escape, don't like that word, but you can escape a bad environment and go into a solid, healthy work environment without starting your own business. So that's what I want to say there. And then support to get back to work. I'm not sure I understand that, because in my head, I'm like, were you on maternity leave? Were you laid off? Like, why are you getting back to work? How long have you been out of work? I'm a little unsure about that first one. And the advice, like the feedback would look different. So I'm not sure. I don't know what you think is happening here. Maybe you have thoughts, but getting back could have been for a number of reasons.
Not sure. So, Adrian, if you're still here, give us some clarity on that and we'll come back to that. So, Eleanor had a question. She said, when you apply for a position in your company and HR notify your supervisor and they block you from getting the position, what can you do to get a better job?
Your supervisor blocked you from getting the position, girl, lawsuit.
Hmm.
Um, let me, because that's inappropriate.
It's a thing, girl. Listen, let me tell you something.
My mind is spinning a million and one ways because one, why did HR notify your supervisor? That should be classified information. So I'd be having a conversation with HR. Two, why did your supervisor block you? I'd be having a conversation with them. Do they think you can't do the job? Do they have something else in mind for you? Again, like people are all up in your business where they shouldn't be. So those are the two things I will say. But also three, ideally, you don't want to apply within your organization without having a conversation with your manager first.
Yeah.
I just ideally they should know that you're planning to leave the team if it's within the organization because they are going to find out. Now, if you're going external, it's not their business. So those are the two things I would say. So now, what do you do to get a better job? I think some of the things I talked about earlier. Get clarity, figure out where you want to move to. If you want to stay in that conversation, then you need to have a conversation with HR and a convo with your supervisor and figure out what the heck is going on. Otherwise, you can start looking externally for a different role if you're ready to bounce. But it really just depends on where you want to go next.
Perfect. All right. So Adrian did give us a little bit more information. She said, I'm trying to go back to her question. There was disability. So now it's time to get back to work.
Back to work. Yeah. So I think the same things I should, get clear on the role you want to get into. How do you get the support? Support looks different, right, Adrian? So you can get support from working with a career coach. You can get support from your family members supporting you during the job search. You can get support from your network helping you find roles that are out there, like telling people, hey, this is what I'm looking for. If you come across something, let me know. So there's different ways you can get support. And so that's what I would say, just tapping into your current network, knowing the kind, like being specific, as you heard me just say, support is so broad. When people say, I need help, I'm like, what kind of help? Like help is big. I could buy you a cookie and that's help because now your sweet tooth has been satisfied. Like what do you mean by help? So get super clear. Do you need help looking for roles? Do you need help finding roles? Do you need help updating your resume, practicing for interviews, negotiating, actually searching? That's all part of the process. You can get different kind of help along the way. So I would say, one, figure out what kind of support you want, and then two, ask for it. So if you know what kind of support you want, find the people who have it and ask for it. All of the things I said you can ask for, except maybe working with a coach where you'd have to invest in their services, but you might ask your network to connect you with opportunities. You might ask a loved one to give you time off to watch the kids while you do a search, right? So ask for the support, and that's how you get it. The Lord said, ask and you shall receive.
Amen, girl. You hear me? Okay, Julie. Sometimes I have to disclose more experience to meet the requirements of the job. How do I overcome that? I have over 25 years of experience. I want a healthy work environment, even if that is a job, even if it is a job that needs less experience, but pays what she's valued. So basically, she has a whole lot of experience. She's disclosing that, but that may make it look like she's overqualified for a healthy environment. How does she
And that's why
navigate that?
I'm hearing there's contradictions in here, right? Because so on the one hand, I'm hearing I have 25 years. I have to disclose more experience to meet the requirements, but then I might be overqualified. If you had to disclose all that experience, you shouldn't be overqualified, right? So that I'm hearing some contradictions there. So make sure you know the exact experience you need to disclose for the role you're applying for. They don't need to know your entire 25 years experience. When you're applying for a role, look through your experience and see which of them have allowed me to develop skills that are most relevant to this role, and that's what you disclose. But if they are asking you to disclose more experience, then you shouldn't be overqualified. Like you should be disclosing just what you need to qualify for the role. So that's how I would respond to that, is make sure you're clear on the role you're applying for, you're clear on the requirements for the role, and that you're crafting a career story, and that's on your resume, on your cover letter, or your LinkedIn profile. You're crafting a story that's tailored to the role you're applying for specifically. Don't tell your entire 25-year history.
Perfect, perfect. All right. So Melinda, I'm loving this situation here. Not loving it, but she loved her job, came out that a white counterpart that has the same
Ooh,
role,
child.
same title, getting paid more than her. Now she's feeling disconnected, feeling some type of way. HR doesn't care, but she loves her job. So what do you think she should do? Or what advice would you give?
You said HR doesn't care. My first question is, do they not care that you found out, or have you asked for more money and they don't care? That's
Mm.
step one, because that's two different levels of care. But sis, I'm gonna be asking to get paid what my white counterpart is being paid, because we're doing the same
Mm.
roles. So that's step one. Is what I would say is, first of all, have you had a conversation with HR? If you have and they don't care, girl, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Like, you have a case.
Mm.
Now, if you're saying, oh, they know that you know, and they don't care, well, that's different. You haven't asked for what you wanted. Yeah, I can know that you want more money, but if you haven't asked me, she said both. They told me
Yeah.
I requested the additional pay 7 months ago. Yeah. So at this point, I'm escalating this, right? Who's manager in HR? Who's director in HR? Who is my support? Like, I'm going up the chain over and over until I get my money. And then that last question, do I stay or do I go? You're the only one who can answer that. Do you love the job enough to be getting paid less? It's like,
Mm.
that's the question you have to answer. No one else can answer that for you. But here's what I'm going to tell you. You could probably do the same job in another organization. I'm hard pressed to believe this is the only place you can love the job. And how much you get paid is a direct reflection of how valued you are. So low key, you love your job, but sis, they don't value
They
you.
don't love you.
If they did, you'd be getting paid more.
Mm. Or
What I
at
would
least
say.
the same as your white counterpart.
At least, at the very least. So I can't. I mean, if we were working together, I tell you what to do. But this is, I'm not liable for any advice I give on this call. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So only you can answer that question. But I've given you some things to think about. If you've spoken to them already, I'm escalating. Who's higher up in HR that I can make this complaint to? Does my manager know about this? Can I talk to my manager about this? Can I have a conversation? And mind you, when you're doing all of these conversations, when you're doing money conversations in general, they can't be emotional. Okay, I'm not saying I need more money. I'm saying no. If you look at my job description and your job description, we're doing the exact same role, or most times I'm doing more. Here's how I have improved outcomes, reduced cost, increased revenue, increased retention, whatever it may be. Here are my receipts of my work. I need more money. Now, it would sound a lot prettier than what I just said, but make sure you approach money conversations with your receipts.
Amen. Okay, last question, and then we gotta, because clearly we need some follow-ups, ma'am. Okay, so the last question was finding mentors. What advice do you have about finding mentors?
I talked about this earlier. I just didn't use the word mentors, but when you were talking about allies, same
Yeah,
process. It's
that's
the same
yeah.
process.
Okay.
Stalk them, invite them to chat with you, get to know them, and then, because with mentorship is, if we're meeting regularly and we notice a pattern of me, getting your idea, over time the relationship just evolves into a mentorship one. It's not like will he be my mentor? That usually is not how it goes. But just find the people and start interacting with them.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So, community, want you all to go ahead and let us know your biggest takeaway from the time that we've been here. Dr. Tega, honey, tell the people where they can find you out here on these internets, child, because we got all the things that we need help. We need help.
You can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm on the most. My handle is right there on the profile at Her Career Doctor, or you can just go to hercareerdoctor.com. But I spend most of my time on Instagram, more time than I should be spending, to be honest. So that's where you'll find me the most quickly.
So, if people want to work with you, do they DM you, or is there like a form
Yes.
to fill out, or
Yeah.
how does that work?
Yeah, and it honestly depends, because you remember I talked about different phases. So, yeah, if you go to my LinkedIn profile and you click the link in my bio, you'll see the ways to work with me on there. Or you can just slide in my DMs and say, "Hi, I just listened to you on the BBG TV. Tell me more about how to work with you," and I'll send you a message. Or you can go to hercareerdoctor.com/work with me. So work with me, the hyphens in between. There are many ways, but honestly, if you send me a DM in Instagram, I'll respond.
Perfect. This has been time well spent, let me tell you. We had a couple questions about if there's going to be a replay. Absolutely. We are closing out right now. So, about 10 minutes after this, the replay is going to be ready and available. We definitely want this conversation to continue. We want to make sure that we continue to share the broadcast, that we continue to have conversation in the comments because, honey, let
I'm
me
seeing
tell
some
you.
really great takeaways here, I'm
Yes.
seeing passion does not equal purpose. Fear, not age, will prevent transition. How to handle microaggressions. So I'm seeing some good takeaways here.
Yes, yes. So thank you,
My
Dr. Tega,
pleasure.
for just pouring all of this out. I think we didn't even know that we needed all of it, but we got it. Okay,
My
all
pleasure.
the things. Yes, that we needed to hear were said tonight. So thank you for being a part of our community, and you are officially a beautiful brown girl. Okay, so you're
Hey.
not gonna be able to get rid of us. Let me tell you, we about to be attached. Okay, so
Let's
just
attach
be
it.
ready.
I love it. I love
Yes,
it.
yes. So to our viewers, make sure that you have already connected to us on our members network. If you go to members.beautifulbrowngirls.com, that is our VIP space where you are able to connect on a deeper level with Beautiful Brown Girls and see all of the amazing things that we are doing. We also want to make sure that you have liked us on Facebook at Beautiful Brown Girls, that you've joined our Facebook group, Beautifully Shaded. On Instagram, we're at Beautifully Shaded, and on Twitter at Beautiful Brown You. Again, make sure you share this broadcast because I promise you know people in your circle that need to hear this. Okay, so make sure that you go ahead and get your people connected. We actually are going to be back here on Wednesday for another episode of Brown Girl Boss with Dr. Tamisha Booker of Hey Carter Books. So that's going to be a super exciting show. You don't want to miss that. Same time, same place here on Beautiful Brown Girls Facebook page. Again, Dr. Tega, you the bomb, sis. You
Thank
out
you.
here. We so appreciate you.
Thank you.
This has been amazing. So, BBG family, we will catch y'all on Wednesday. Make sure that you are back and ready with your notebooks and your things. And until then, we'll see y'all next time.
Good
Bye,
night,
y'all.
y'all.